Hello, everyone. Welcome to the top 10 strategic technology trends for 2021. My name is Manjunath Bhat, and I'm the Senior Director Research at Gartner. I cover infrastructure and operations. Today, we are going to talk about the top 10 strategic technology trends as we see not just for 2021, but this is going beyond next year and into the next couple of years. We are all used to change in the digital age, but few of us could have predicted the changes and upheaval that the global pandemic has brought. The pandemic has completely changed how many of us live and work, and some of these changes may be permanent. Organizations require the plasticity to shape and shift to the new reality. As an IT leader, you must compose the future for your organization in these unprecedented times. This is where our top strategic technology trends for 2021 come in. We've selected them for your benefit and for their transformative potential. Now, they fall into three themes. These broad themes guide CIOs and IT leaders to compose the future. First comes people centricity. People centricity highlights the way technology affects stakeholders across the business ecosystem. The people centricity theme focuses on how people's behaviors, experience, and privacy will change. Second, location independence. Now, today, employees, customers, and suppliers, they can be present anywhere. The pandemic is accelerating the use of remote channels for all of these groups. This is making location independence an even greater necessity. Distributed cloud, anywhere operations, and new cybersecurity paradigms address the demands of a location-independent business model. Third, resilient delivery. A resilient organization and technology architecture can rapidly adapt to overcome challenges and exploit new opportunities. Organizations and their supporting IT environments must be composable and use sophisticated automation and AI technologies to enable resiliency. And finally, these trends and technologies don't exist in isolation. They build on and reinforce one another to create a digital world. Combinatorial innovation is an overarching theme and a hallmark of our top strategic technology trends. The trends reinforce one another to support the creation, delivery, and operation of a people-centric, location-independent, and resilient business. Collectively, these trends provide the organizational plasticity to compose the future. Our first set of trends focuses on people centricity. Adaptability starts with people. We need to understand the needs of individuals and groups, today and tomorrow. And we need to use technology to respond to those needs and influence behavior. The Internet of Behaviors is emerging, with many technologies capturing the digital trust and the digital dust of our daily lives and identifying behavioral events. Governments and organizations use that information to influence our behaviors through feedback loops. Three factors enable this. First, the technological capability to capture data has increased. Second, the ability to combine data from various sources has improved. And third, a variety of approaches has demonstrated the art of the possible. We predict that by 2025, over half of you will have your behaviors influenced by an external Internet of Behaviors program. Last year, we introduced multi-experience as a top strategic technology trend. This year, we are taking it one step further with total experience. Total experience is a strategy that connects multi-experience with customer, employee, and user experience disciplines to create superior experiences. Total experience addresses multiple audiences to achieve business outcomes that are mutually beneficial. Organizations applying total experience will outperform competitors in both customer and employee experience satisfaction indexes. Globally, data protection legislation is maturing, and CIOs of every organization processing personal data face higher privacy and non compliance risks. This is far higher than ever. Demand is rapidly growing for processing data in untrusted environments and performing multi party data sharing and analytics. Now, unlike data at rest controls, privacy enhancing computation protects data while in use, while still maintaining privacy and secrecy. We believe that by 2025, 50% of large organizations will use privacy enhancing computation for processing data in untrusted environments and multi party data scenarios. Our next set of trends focuses on location independence. Your employees, your suppliers, and your customers can be located anywhere. What spaces do they operate in? How do they adapt to changing physical and virtual spaces? And how do we deliver digital services and a digitally enhanced experience across those spaces? Let's look at distributed cloud, one of the first technology trend in this under location independence. CIOs are motivated to move immediately to centralized public cloud services, but regulations, data residency requirements, and edge computing needs hold them back. Hybrid cloud is one solution, but it requires private cloud, which is complex, costly, and disconnected from public cloud services. Distributed cloud addresses these needs. It provides a nimble environment with a high level of plasticity. Distributed cloud provides public cloud services to physical locations. The cloud provider remains responsible for the operation, governance, and evolution of these services. We expect that by 2025, more than half of organizations will use distributed cloud at the location of their choice. Anywhere operations, one of my favorite trends, refers to a business operating model designed to reach customers anywhere, employees anywhere, and use digital technologies to deliver business services anywhere. Implementing anywhere operations is a key way to deliver organizational and technological plasticity. Anywhere operations is about more than just remote work or supporting remote customer interactions. It also delivers unique value-added experiences for services that can't be delivered remotely. In this model, an organization's customers will be everywhere. Its employees will be digitally connected and dispersed, and its business operations will be distributed. By the end of 2023, 40% of organizations will deliver blended virtual and physical experiences to both employees and customers. The cybersecurity mesh enables anyone to access any digital asset securely, no matter where the asset or the person is located. It decouples the policy enforcement from policy decision making via a cloud delivery model. It allows identity, that is user identity, to become the security perimeter. We believe that by 2025, the cybersecurity mesh will support over half of digital access control requests. Our final set of trends focuses on resilient delivery. Modular and composable business and IT architectures, including artificial intelligence and hyperautomation, support resilient delivery. The first technology trend under resilient delivery is intelligent composable business. All of these years, static business processes that were built for efficacy and efficiency, they were so brittle and they shattered under the COVID-19 shock. Now, as CIOs and IT leaders struggle to pick up the pieces, they are beginning to understand the importance of plasticity. In future, machines will enhance decision making, enabled by a rich fabric of data and insights. An intelligent composable business radically re-engineers decision-making and enables capabilities to adapt at the pace of business change. It requires a future architecture that enables better access to information that is augmented with new insights. It also enables a composable, modular architecture that's built for change and respond more quickly as decisions are made. We believe that by 2023, organizations that have adopted a composable approach will implement new features 80% faster than their competition. AI engineering stands on three core pillars: DevOps, Model Ops, and Data Ops. DevOps deals mainly with high speed code changes. AI projects, however, experience dynamic changes in code, models, and data, and all of them must be improved. Organizations can use DevOps principles to develop AI projects more collaboratively and with a higher level of automation. Organizations must apply DevOps principles across the data pipeline for data ops and the machine learning model pipeline for model ops to reap the benefits of AI engineering. AI engineering requires a focus on people, culture, and toolsets. It provides customer value by stimulating collaboration between different stakeholders in development, data science, operations, as well as security. CIOs and IT leaders must focus on governance and explainability not later, but upfront, while striving to enhance privacy using new techniques. Business executives are demanding more than ever excellence in digital operations, and this is creating a need for automation. And this is what this trend is about: hyper automation. The result is huge pent up demand for speed, efficacy, and capacity. Speed to reduce cycle times, efficacy to cut error rates, and capacity to scale across many processes. This has triggered an enormous backlog of requests from business stakeholders to apply intelligent automation technologies. The pandemic has also accelerated the demand with the sudden requirement for everything to be digital first to enable anywhere operations. We believe that by 2024, organizations will lower operational costs by 30% by combining hyperautomation technologies with redesigned operational processes. Now, those were the top strategic technology trends for 2021. The people centricity theme is about the way technology affects customers, employees, and other constituencies, setting the stage for a nimble organization. Location independence highlights value creation, with stakeholders located anywhere across the business ecosystem. Resilient delivery emphasizes organization and technology architecture that can rapidly adopt and adapt in this dynamic environment, composing the necessary solutions. Finally, these themes and trends combine and reinforce one another to create a digital world. CIOs that challenge the organization to explore combinatorial innovation can lower costs, but more importantly, increase value. As their organizations strive to compose the future, CIOs must make it a strategic priority to improve the plasticity of business models and supporting IT architecture. As CIOs move forward on this journey, these are the trends they cannot afford to ignore. Now, here are the links to Gartner research that dive deeper into each one of these trends. If you're a Gartner client, check them out. If you're not, feel free to reach out. We are going to talk about the future of endpoint operations, a topic pretty close to my heart, very passionate about. 2020 has been a year of significant upheaval, driven by the global pandemic and its associated economic impact. This sets the stage for a major shift in the IT landscape. CIOs and senior IT leaders, such as yourselves, must now strive to rapidly adapt to changing conditions triggered by fundamental shifts in work patterns. Now, this requires organizations to dynamically reform their technology strategy to meet new digital business needs. One of Gartner's strategic technology trends for 2021 is called anywhere operations. In my session today, you will see why modernizing endpoint operations is key to successfully implementing an anywhere operation strategy. Anywhere operations, like you can see here, refers to a business operating model designed to reach customers anywhere, employees anywhere, and using digital technologies to deliver business services anywhere. Implementing anywhere operations is central to delivering organizational and technological plasticity. Anywhere operations is more than just remote work or remote customer interactions. It delivers unique value-added experiences for services that can't be delivered remotely. In this model, an organization's customers will be everywhere, its employees will be digitally connected and dispersed, and its business operations will be distributed. By the end of 2023, Gartner predicts that 40% of organizations will deliver blended virtual and physical experiences to both employees and customers. Now, three key principles underpin an anywhere operation strategy, like you see here. Beginning with digital first, remote first on the far left, making digital the default experience and remote the default delivery model. Next, making physical spaces digitally enhanced because not everything can be remotely delivered. Where physical spaces are actually required, providing digital enhancements to those services. Finally, distributed business capabilities on the far right. Deliver capabilities seamlessly across multiple physical and virtual spaces. Let me give you a great example of how digital transformation looks. This one is at Adidas. Over the past couple of months, physical showrooms of Adidas were closed, but they still wanted to hold productive selling meetings with their wholesale partners. And to make these meetings possible, Adidas used their digital showroom tool that combines 3D video previews and augmented reality to bring products to life virtually. Adidas has seen a tenfold increase since in the number of wholesale partners using this tool. Now, not all of us are going back to the office. Now, it's abundantly clear that all of us will probably never go to office again or will work remotely for most of our time. Now, in fact, Gartner research is already showing a dramatic increase in remote work expectations going forward. Now, some of those who expect to always work from home nearly doubling from 10% to 19%. Like you can see in between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic projections. The total amount of folks working remotely increasing by more than half from 30% to 48%. Now, this shift was already happening before 2020. We expect these trends to continue regardless of the pandemic's course. Remote work, also called sometimes location-independent work, is a critical aspect of anywhere operations. Gartner recommends organizations prioritize 4 critical technology levers to enable remote work. Virtual workspaces, such as VDI and desktop as a service, provide flexible access to applications through any form factor. Securing access via multi-factor authentication, zero trust network access. All of these technologies enable a perimeterless digital workplace. Collaboration and productivity platforms such as Cloud Office and Workstream collaboration tools enable teams to harness the power of collective insight. Finally, modern management through the use of unified endpoint management tools provides a common and consistent approach to manage and secure devices and enterprise applications while still maintaining end user privacy. Modern endpoint management automates tedious tasks and frees up precious time and energy to focus on higher value goals such as customer experience and employee engagement. We've also seen the dramatic increase of employees being onboarded remotely. This is from the Gartner HR Leader Survey conducted on March 31st, 2020. Now, when asked, what actions has your organization taken to remotely onboard new employees, 71% said they've had to ship computers and other necessary equipment to new employees. This is a new development for most organizations, except perhaps for a handful of digital natives that are already 100% remote. Maybe you can think of the likes of GitLab or InVision, for instance. This means that IT teams responsible for end user computing will not only have to modernize endpoint operations, but also the way they procure and provision those devices. Now let's focus on modern endpoint management. The remainder of this talk is going to be on one of the most critical technology ingredients that enables and secures remote work, modern endpoint management. Now, in the subsequent slides, we will highlight four core principles of modern endpoint management. The first core principle is the enablement mindset. Gartner believes that the enablement mindset is the missing ingredient today to successfully support a digital workplace that in turn drives digital transformation. Now, a key question to ask is what role or groups within your company is actually responsible for improving digital dexterity of the workforce and how can it be done? The most common answer is there is no such role or group. And we find this quite interesting. We find that promoting enablement drives employee adoption of new technology, which increases workforce digital dexterity, which in turn results in successful digital transformation. So enablement is a key prerequisite. This enablement mindset is owned collectively by IT departments, by HR groups, and business teams together and must be embraced by all to maximize technology's impact. Now, we recommend that digital dexterity efforts should be nurtured in a digital workplace program. Now, this should have sponsors from across the organization. It can't be driven by IT alone. The second core principle is continuous engineering. Now, it's clear that we need a new approach to managing the tools our workers use. Constant updates that affect multiple services have now become a reality. Now, you know modern operating systems, SaaS applications. Now, these have meant that we have much less control over device updates, application updates than we have had before. Therefore, our focus must shift from treating this as a series of projects to more like a continuous engineering paradigm. Continuous engineering is an approach that accepts and welcomes frequent system upgrades and application updates. Now, rather than wasting time on non-value-added technical tasks, such as trying to build and debug static desktop images, we instead focus on determining what changes will have the most impact on our users and rapidly pilot and test those that will affect them the most. We engage business users to help them with the resources they need as part of change management. This enables everyone to get the intended benefits from all of these changes. We then measure the impact of these changes and the value we are getting from the overall platform so that we can better influence future changes to the product. This is a virtuous cycle. With this approach, we spend more time engaging with users to manage the overall experience and less time performing maintenance and other non-value added tasks. Continuous endpoint engineering abstracts away complexity. It reduces overhead and minimizes the customization that's needed to provision these devices. Let's look at the third principle. The third core principle is consolidation of teams and breakdown of end user computing silos. We can no longer afford to take an IT centric view of the digital workplace. Now, multiple disjoint end user computing teams must consolidate into a single digital workplace operations team. In many companies, this is also called the digital workplace products team. Now, these are organized by strategic business outcomes such as workplace engineering, workplace operations, workplace governance, and workplace enablement. I was at the Gartner event last year in Frankfurt, and one of the attendees I was speaking to was talking about trying to get the desktop team working with the mobile team. And the comment I remember is, I've put the two teams together, but they're not talking. It sort of feels like putting eggs, flour, sugar, and butter in a bowl and expecting cake to magically appear, isn't it? The fourth core principle is modern endpoint management. Gartner clients commonly ask questions such as, what does it take to move to modern management? And what are the benefits of adopting modern management? Currently, Gartner clients choose one of three ways to manage PCs and Macs. The first approach is using existing client management tools and methods such as group policy objects, PowerShell scripts, dedicated platform specific products for management of PCs while using maybe separate tools for mobile and MacBooks. The second is a hybrid approach where some aspects of PCs are managed by a traditional client management tool and others are managed by a unified endpoint management tool, which also manages mobile, maybe in some cases wearable devices and IoT endpoints. The third approach is a full-blown management of PCs and Macs alongside mobile, wearable, and IoT devices using a single pane of glass approach, using same workflows, same products. Now, the past 9 months have amplified the limitations of traditional approaches to PC management and have driven organizations to unified endpoint management for reduced complexity, location agnostic device management, and even analytics to track and improve device performance and user experience. The most common benefits of modern management may be summed up as one of these three that come to mind, remote management and policy-based auto remediation. This can be done regardless of your location and network, and this is central. This was not possible before modern endpoint management. Zero-touch deployment of devices to workers with no staging required by IT. This again was not possible prior to modern management and has actually accelerated with new features such as Windows Autopilot that allows shipping devices directly from your OEM supplier directly to maybe your employee's home or wherever they choose to work from. The third one is zero trust security posture. We'll talk about this in the subsequent slides. Because of all of these business outcomes, you may think, so what is our prognostication? What do we see happening? Gartner believes that by 2024, more than half of organizations will consolidate to a single console for endpoint management and security tasks. Now, this is up, from less than 5% in 2020. So this is an exponential increase. There are reasons, like we discussed. This is also fueled by a few factors. The expectations of a consumerized work environment is exponentially increasing, especially with remote work, because employees are using their personal and enterprise applications side by side. In many cases, they use personal devices and enterprise provided devices side by side. Now, in addition, the need for flexible work practices, starting with the rise of SaaS adoption and the enterprise use of mobile devices. Now, these things force organizations to support new ways of work, something that Gartner calls the new work nucleus. This is now, if you look at the future of information security, we believe it's going to be adaptive and is context aware. How does endpoint management in future enable a zero trust security posture? If you think about it, almost all of information security at runtime boils down to policy-based decisions between the requesting entity, which is the combination of user and the device, the behavior being requested, for instance, downloading a document versus accessing a service, and the target entity in real time, which application is the user trying to access. So for example, policy-based decisions include, should this system run this executable? Now, this could be construed maybe, and these kind of decisions are taken typically by application control engines or application control software. Now you could enable these policies right within the Windows operating system using endpoint management policies, MDM policies. Should this person be able to visit this website? This is another policy-based decision, and this has to be made in real time. Should this person be allowed to log into this application? This is an authentication mandate. Should this person be able to execute this transaction even if they have logged in? This is about authorization and role-based access. All of these questions are context dependent and require a combination of user level trust and device level trust. A security posture based on security, you can think of this as being based on zero trust, adaptive access, context awareness. All of this acknowledges that we can't know the answers to these security questions in advance. We cannot rely on statically defined rules, tables and maybe one-time gating assessments, which may be, okay, this is good and this is bad. In this world of digital business, we can't provide a risk-based answer to these security questions until the request is actually made and the context is specifically known. Now, we've talked a lot about management and security. What's the next most important thing? And the most important thing, it's the end user experience. Focusing on security alone at the cost of user experience is a recipe for disaster. Organizations face numerous challenges in assessing end user experience for all enterprise applications. Now, this is compounded by the fact that enterprises own less of the infrastructure, they own less of the applications. Specifically, if you're thinking about SaaS applications, now these SaaS applications sometimes may be up and running, as your monitoring dashboard may indicate, but their performance may be poor. Remember, in the digital age, slow implies down. Identifying root cause and remediation of problems are other challenges. So what should you do? And define what we call service level indicators. So these are aspects of the application that customers care about or your users care about. Measure these SLIs or service level indicators. This requires you to gather data. You'll also have to process that data, analyze the data, present and use the information, and implement corrective action. Now, traditional monitoring practices and technologies do not provide these adequate business level context. They're limited in their ability to, let's say, effectively monitor end user experience. Digital experience monitoring tools, on the other hand, they provide business level context by monitoring performance, user experience, say, for instance, which is measured through responsiveness of applications. But this is done from the end user's perspective. This is not done from an IT perspective. This is not based on the availability of an application, but this is from the vantage point of the end user. Now, as they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So take that first step. Modernize your endpoint operations by transitioning from legacy endpoint management to modern management using unified endpoint management tools. Finally, I will leave you with some of the Gartner recommended research. Here are a few relevant research notes that my Gartner colleagues and I have published. Take the time to go through them, contact us for any questions. Now with that, I wish you all a great HexCon 2020. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.